What's going on, beautiful Jellyfish? It's Tracy, and today I'm going to be doing a video that I thought would be a really cool idea. I feel like someone may have suggested this. I can't remember. It's basically on 5 of my least favorite sets and 5 of my favorite sets. I thought this would be like a super interesting, like unique idea to kind of reflect over my time that I've been playing Magic. Some of these are even before I actually started playing Magic, but a lot of these are more so when I have been because I've had more experiences with the set. And this is going to be a super casual video. So, the first, I'm going to start with the least favorite stuff because let's get all that negative energy out of the way and then we'll talk about the exciting stuff. The first set, or I would say set of sets, try saying that 12 times fast, that I want to talk about that I'm not a huge fan of is any of like the unsets. So like Unglued, Unstabled, Unhinged. I don't like any of these sets, and I did a whole kind of like a rant on why I don't like them, so I'm not going to get into it that much, but I just think they're a waste of time. I think they're very pointless. I don't see the point of them, and to me I just think they're a waste of space. That's pretty much all I'm going to really say about them. I think they really should never be printed. That's my personal opinion. There's a lot of great stuff Wizards of the Coast does, but in my opinion those are just a complete waste of time. The second set I will say that I was not a huge fan of is Battle for Zendikar, and I actually drafted a lot during Battle for Zendikar. So I think when I was kind of in the zone of playing Battle for Zendikar, I was like, oh, this is so sweet, blah, 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 whatever. And I think the more I kind of looked at it, the more I drafted it, the more I got super tired of it. I was like, I'm bored of this. I think it's because I overdrafted it, in my opinion, and I don't think it's that it was a bad set by any means. I just think that I was playing with it so much, and there was a lot of like really dumb like Eldrazi and things. There were a lot of sweet cards, like all these sets that I'm talking about except for like unsets. Those I hate every single card of. I think they're awful, but everything, even if I talk about it, there are cards from them that I still like, but like as a whole, but yeah, like there was some sweet cards, but there's just a lot of really dumb Eldrazi, and I don't like Eldrazi at all. I think they're like, that's like my least favorite like archetype or creature type or whatever. Like I hate them. I hate Eldrazi. Like they make me want to like scratch my eyes out. Like I hate them that much. So just as a whole, Battle for Zendikar, I definitely wish I didn't overdraft that set because I think I learned a lot in that time about drafting, but I wish it was just with a different set. It was just not my style of set. Kind of going into that, I would say, with the whole like Eldrazi artifact kind of theme, I tend to be very anti-artifact, and I don't quite know why that is. I'm trying to figure out about what it is. I just think a lot of them are super they're very powerful. But Mirrodin is my third least favorite set. Because I think they did way too much with artifacts, and that with like New Phyrexia too. Do I talk about New Phyrexia? I don't, but I tend to feel like sets that have too many artifacts are really overpowered, just because I think they're super easy to cast, and I don't know. I just think there was a lot of like OP stuff in this set, and it's just kind of boring. It's just not really my style. I'm not really into it. Like, I actually have an idea of brewing up an artifact kind of EDH deck. It's like more equipment, not really. I mean, it's going to have artifacts in it, but I'm not super sold on it yet. I don't really know what I'm going to do, but yeah, as a whole, Mirrodin, not really doing it for me. Okay. The next one I will say, as a block, I feel like a lot of people did not like the Theros block at all, and I am one of those people. I think this set, like, I imagine drafting it, I feel like it would have been a nightmare. Like, I feel like I would have gotten so bored with drafting it. I think Bestow, in my opinion, is a really terrible mechanic. I think, like, the whole concept was like, oh, it's gonna be so cool because, like, it's kind of like Totem Arbor, like, once it dies, but then it sticks around and whatever, but I'm just, like, not fazed by it. I think the Gods were a super incredible addition, and I think everyone can really appreciate that, and there are definitely some really great cards in Theros, like, there are in a lot of these sets I'm talking about, but I don't know. As a whole, I'm looking at like through the set right now just to like see. Ashiok's in the set. Ashiok's super sweet, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just kind of boring. Like, I just think the set just kind of like, I don't know. And Heroic too, I don't like this mechanic because it's like a lot of times like I'd have cards, like I feel like in the past I've like looked at cards and I'm like, whoa, this card's like is so good, like it does this super awesome thing, but it's like got Heroic, and I'm like, what if I don't want to target that creature? What if I need to target one of my others? And I'm just like, ugh. Like, I just think a lot of the mechanics in this just didn't really do it. I think the Gods ultimately saved this whole block, but all in all, not a huge fan of the Theros block. Okay. The last one that I wanted to talk about is Kaladesh, and I believe I was actually doing videos on Kaladesh from what I'm remembering, and I know, no, crew vehicles, hate it, played with it. I played with it once and I was, not once, I played with it a couple times and I was like, cool, I'm not phased. If I don't ever cast these magic cards again, I'm gonna be okay with my life. It just didn't do it for me. You know, when like the whole, when I get into my one of my favorite sets, it'll kind of make sense a little bit more, but you know when you have like the whole feel of a set, like it's all very like modern and mechanically, I'm not into it. I'm just not. Like the art to me is another really huge aspect. Like if a set's art, like this art in a lot of this set, like just I don't know how to describe it, like futuristic, like whatever you want to say, I'm just not a huge fan of. Like there's some in here like Sahili Rai, who's beautiful, but like there's some art that I'm just not a huge fan of in this, and to me like that's a huge deal. Like it makes it or breaks it for me. Not that it's just about the art, but just like the whole feel of the set, I just don't think, it's just not my style, you know? I don't know how to describe it. Like I think when I did like my video on like my magic art and like the aesthetic of cards and like how I like things to work, you know, more into like pretty things, like naturey things, and I don't know how to fully describe it, but Kaladesh, not really doing it for me. Vehicles, total no in my book, really hate that mechanic. Okay, negative energy aside, let's talk about my favorite sets. I feel like this was super, I should have like alternated, but moving aside to favorite sets. The first set that comes to mind when I think of favorite magic sets is Lorwyn, and this to me was, I think, one of the sets that ultimately like sold me on magic. I don't know, like I just find myself so many times, like when you think about tribal as like a whole mechanic, not mechanic, when you think of it as a whole thing, like I'm just like boom, Lorwyn, like that is what I think of. The art, absolutely beautiful. You have so many fantastic tribes in this. Like you have fairies, elves, which I mean those are two classic mechanics that, you know, sorry, mechanics, those are two classic types that you still see now, and just everything about this set is just so incredibly beautiful to me. Just I can't get enough of this. Like I really can't get enough of just staring at like the art in this set, and like just when I remember like coming up with old school like elf decks, like there were elves from this set in here. Like I can't, it's just super beautiful, and so many cards I feel like come from this set and got reprinted, you know, from this set, and I just, the whole fairy thing, I don't know, just totally gets to me. I just absolutely love Lorwyn. I would totally 100% love to go back to Lorwyn. Like if there's ever a return to Lorwyn set, I am 100% all over it. And I feel like it's funny because I feel like this set is so much, I feel like, about who I am as a Magic player, and I feel like I haven't really told you guys before, and now you know. So love this set. Great. Okay, another huge important set I would say in my Magic history, if you will, is Avacyn Restored, and this set means a lot to me for a lot of different reasons. I think because Avacyn herself is in the set, and Avacyn is one of like my staple Magic cards. I think I'm gonna do a video on like my how sentimental I am with certain Magic cards. This was an idea that I came up with, and I think it's a really good one. You know, like Angels as a whole is like one of my favorite creature types ever. And it's totally not a religious thing. I just think they're so beautiful, and I think the art in them is, again, art is such a big deal for me in sets. And I think too, the huge presence of white cards. Like white is one of my favorite Magic colors. Like white, black, and blue, like those are, I love all of them and they're all really great, but I think the presence of white in the set was just super important. The huge presence of angels. You have such staple angels in this set that just makes this set so great. I don't really care for the miracle mechanic. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but I just think what this set did for angels was just so powerful. And like, if you ever see someone's angel EDH deck, like they're pulling angels from Avacyn Restored. Like there's no questions. There's just so many fantastic cards in this set, and a lot of really staple humans too. And you have Tameo too, like the Moon Sage. Like you just have so many, Blood Artist, like you have so many fantastic cards that come from the set. I I just love Avacyn Restored, like huge fan. So this set, another set that I love, this is kind of, I'm kind of cheating a little bit, that's Innistrad and Shadows over Innistrad. I really loved Shadows over Innistrad because I drafted that set a lot, and there was a lot of really awesome, like, vampires and zombies and, you know, like, sweet sort of stuff in there that I really enjoyed. But Innistrad too, I mean, it's in the same block as Avacyn Restored, and again, similar reasons about why I really enjoy that. Yeah, I just really like this. I really like Delirium as a mechanic. I did a lot of stuff with that when I drafted. The flavor too, like, I just think it was so great, and I think getting the opportunity to draft, like, I didn't have the opportunity to draft Innistrad, but then doing Shadows over Innistrad, like, that was really cool to, like, go back. I definitely want to get back into drafting, because, guys, I, like, totally miss drafting. I think it was, like, a ton of fun. I think I want to film some, like, draft sims, too, because if I can, like, find those online, because I miss drafting so much. Maybe after the move and things, like, settle down, but, yeah. Okay, the fourth set that I really love is Origins. I'm actually, I think, kind of into the whole core sets, and now that they're gone, I feel like I really miss them. Origins was really, I think in my Magic, like, history, like, meant a lot because it was, at the time, we thought going to be the last set. Now we're having Core 19, which is super weird, that we're bringing those back, but I'm very excited. Origins, I think, really just getting back into the 5 planeswalkers, and you get to see, like, their past and stuff like that. I feel like it's a very flavorful set. Like, I like when, you know, sets have themes. I mean, all sets have themes, but, like, sets, like, themes that I'm, like, super into. Like, I like how you got to see, like, the backstory behind, like, Liliana and, like, stuff like that was super cool and really, really awesome. And I'm sure lore-wise that was super exciting for a lot of people, too. I don't care about lore, but, yeah, I thought that was, like, really awesome, and I just remember drafting it and being like, oh, I'm super bummed, and I liked, you know, picking, like, the colors, and, you know, the promo, like, could have been, like, Liliana or something, because I remember I did black, like, you know, and I was like, hope I get Liliana, like, that would be so cool. So, yeah, no, I think it just means, I think for flavor-wise, and too, I mean, I think for sentimental-wise, like, when we thought this was going to be the last core set, I was like, damn, I'm going to miss them. Unpopular opinion, I feel like a lot of people hated core sets, but no, I definitely really appreciated this set for what it was, and the whole backstory thing, and I think was, like, super cool, and, like, seeing, like, younger versions of these planeswalkers, like, I think that was awesome. Yeah, Origins was super cool. And the last set I want to talk to you guys about is Conflux, and, you know, when I was actually making this list and I was thinking of things, I was like, you know what, I'm totally someone who's into, you know, more colors, and I feel like opening the doors up to, like, people playing more colors, I think, is super important. I really am excited to, you know, see a set similar to Conflux where we get, like, 4 color creatures and things like that. Like, I think that's going to be super huge, and that's going to be, like, a very large game changer in my opinion. And I think the opportunity of having, like, 5 color cards is, like, massive. Like, there's really not, in the grand scheme of things, like, there's really not a lot of cards, and I think having cards of multiple colors and things is so great. And I think from, you know, when Magic, when the people design a set and stuff like that, like, when they pull together these cards, they're like, okay, cool, well, standard and draft is, like, our priority, and then all of the formats or whatever, you know, kind of go by the wayside. So I think when people draft, I tend to notice it's a very, you know, when you'll be sitting around the table with all these draft people, you know, with all these Magic players, they're all like, cool, like, you want, like, 2 colors, like, that's their whole thing, is, like, 2 colors, but I think more colors forces people to get so much more creative and forces people to think in ways and put cards together and make games more interesting, you know? So, like, I don't always want to cast, like, monocolored stuff. Like, I want the opportunity to cast, you know, things in multiple card colors. So, yeah, I really like Conflux as a set, and I really hope we get the opportunity to have things, you know, branching out and have, like, a tri-colored set. Like, you know, we've had them, but, like, I want more. I want more colors. I just think it's, like, a ton of fun to, like, mess around with that. So, guys, that is it. That is it for my 5 least favorite sets and my 5 favorite sets in MTG. And, yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think of these choices. Let me know what sets you hate or what sets you're really in love with. And I will talk to you guys in my next video on Thursday.